but as for Virginia Tech, so like when you first got to Virginia Tech, what surprised you the most about not only Virginia Tech but like Division 1 athletics?
What surprised me the most? It's fast paced. It is there is no downtime. You don't get breaks. Your break is actually the time that you're spending rehabbing or educating yourself about who you are and what you do in your sport, right? That is your full-time job. And when I tell you, people think I'm lying and joking when I say that, oh, athletes get paid a lot of money. This was before NIL, and they were complaining about how much money we were getting paid. We were getting paid per diem, right? Yeah, our books were paid for, our housing was paid for, but we weren't getting cars, we weren't getting a house, we weren't getting millions, right? So for me, I would just say that people really don't understand the hard work that you have to put in and out of season. In college, there is no out of season. You have indoor, you have outdoor. So
Yeah.
we're talking 12 consecutive months of training and rehabbing, and for me, surgeries in the mix of training and rehabbing, and meat still trying to be the best. So you just your mind has to be your mind has to be extremely healthy.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot. I mean
Yeah.
even when I did track and field for like a year or two, I stayed and I'm like, damn man, I want to go to a party. I want
You
to
can't.
like I gotta wake up early.
Yeah, even if you wanted to, even if you could wake up early, your body is like, wait a minute. I was
Like
just up, my legs are jello. Like the best way I can explain how your legs feel after a real serious workout is like, and I know you won't understand this, but like women who have had children and they've had like that epidural, when they tell you not to get out of bed and you still try to get out of bed, that's exactly what it's like. I ain't even try to get up. You know, didn't even try. Your legs just wobbling like a little fawn. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, no, yeah. Track is not for the weak. Any sport in college is not for the weak.
yeah. I think though like track, I mean like I've worked out ever since I was like 16, 15. So like I think if you work out at a young age, it does help a lot because I remember
Agree.
when I was in track, it was like I was working out even on my off day. I would do box jumps and I'll be like doing what I have to do, and it's
Yep.
like it's and my coach is like, "Oh, you're not tired?" I'm like, "No."
No.
Going there like
Yeah.
looking at like,
Your
"Man,
body's used to it.
no." Yeah, so like I think it's like some people they don't do it, but then that also it maybe depends on how you train too. Like the coach doesn't push you enough, but track is different workout. It's not all about lifting heavy and doing all the football drills. No, it's
Come
all
on.
about like it's all about just
Repetition.
technique and
Yep.
distance and all that stuff.
Yes,
So
sir.
I think it also just depends on how you train, but the fact that it depends on the sport too.
Yeah.
Um, Now, since as you know, being a student athlete, all this travel, competition, all, which coach had the biggest impact at Virginia Tech?
It would
And
still be my head coach. Excuse me, I say my head coach, and that just tells you exactly what I meant.
yeah,
What I didn't mean. It would be my throwing coach, Coach Greg Jack. Again, funny enough, he will tell you, even if he was sitting right next to me, he would know and he would agree that me and him, it was like fire and ice. We couldn't stand each other. But then he had to have a meeting with me, like a come to Jesus meeting. And he was like, if you understood how good you were, you would understand why I am the way I am with you. And when I heard that, it went from me thinking that he was against me all the time and he just had his, the thoughts that like I wasn't trying hard enough to saying that, okay, he sees so much more in me than I see in myself. And so I had to again, mindset. I also had to again just take all of what he was telling me and really feed off of that because every day after that got harder and harder and harder because now the expectations are different, right? And so now not just from him but from what I expect from myself, everything became a challenge. Let me see how I can challenge myself to be better every day. I'm not fighting my teammates. I'm not fighting that girl from, UVA. I'm not fighting myself as Ciera versus Ciera. And so it would definitely be Coach Greg Jack. Even now I call him, he's still there. He's a sounding board even for, my young man. And I really appreciate him. Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of us like especially when you're at a young age and you don't know the whole world yet, and having him like sit down with you and explain why, like, I'm here to help you. I'm not here to like be against you. Like, you're here. We're a team,
We're a
and just
team.
saying that is really good because I
Yeah.
think not a lot of people can. Um, they not a lot of people can really explain. I think they're scared of talking about expressing themselves, or the fact that they're just there for the money. But
Yes.
it showed the fact that he actually really gave. I'm not gonna
That
say.
part he gave.
Yeah,
He
and
gave
he
everything.
pretty much wanted to help because they see a potential in you and they see the fact that you can be very talented, and just having that connection, sit down one on one is perfect. And I think a lot of athletes should be having this, no matter what sport, what division or high school or middle school, because I think it goes a long way so that a younger mind of a high school or middle school or college can at least remember it. Like, you just literally remember that because
Yep.
how much it impacted you, and just
Very much.
having that impacted you now, then impacts
Yeah.
you now, and then you pass that to your son, and you can tell your son, "Hey, you're gonna run into someone. You
Exactly.
may think they hate you, but no,
They
they're just
actually
showing
love
you
it.
lots of love, and they're just doing it as a hard way so that they
Yeah.
can tell you, hey, I'm
Yep.
trying to help you, not hurt you."
That part.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but
Exactly. Great guy.
that.
Great guy. Yep.
Did you have a favorite teammate?
Favorite teammate. Funny enough, you say that. So yes, my teammate is actually here, and not here in my house, but she just touched down in Houston, and she was supposed to be here yesterday. She's here for her man's family reunion, but she's my girl. We've been funny enough. She was transfer from Iowa State. I had no idea, even though like I was like I'm from Illinois, and so when she came and she was from Iowa State, I was like, oh, we can be buds, you know. The funniest thing is she was a hurdler and a sprinter. She's probably all of 5'7" and built like this. So you got me at 5'11" and her and 209 and 230 ish. You know, at that time to her being like this, and we've maintained our friendship. She was in my wedding. She actually her son is a couple of months younger than Zeke because we literally had our boys back to back like that, and our families love each other. She's just all around great. Her name is Kiosha. I call her Mama Yoshi. But she's that person that is like, if ever we were to not be friends, we probably have to get rid of each other because there's so many
Yeah,
so
wow.
many secrets there, right? But yeah, that's my girl. She, besides one of my roommates, who was a basketball player at Virginia Tech, besides her, she knows everything about me. She was one of the first to know about Zeke when I was pregnant. So that's my girl.
Okay.
Yep.
So as you know, there's always been tough times in college. We're all human. And did you ever had a moment where you questioned yourself? And also, how did you stay mentally strong during those difficult seasons?
Okay. So, how did I stay mentally strong? I believe that, like I said, after freshman year in college, knowing that I was okay, so it was freshman year going into sophomore year, I was fourth in the nation. So I went from being okay, like one of the greatest in high school in Illinois, to meeting the greatest in the nation at my school, to competing against the greatest in the nation, and then finding out I'm the fourth in the nation. That was a humbling experience. But what I think for me, it was just, I think, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Sorry, so many things just came to mind. But
That's all right.
I think for me, the biggest thing is knowing that, like I said, being where you're at, right? And having all these things that you want to do with your life and having all these goals and then making them. It's like you've made it, right? But for me, it was like I can do so much better now that I have gotten here. It's like I've arrived. What do I do next? And so I finally realized my potential was no longer potential. It was what it was. So where do I go from here? Now I'm not looking at other people and saying, oh, I want to be like her. I am her. People are looking at me like they want to be like me, you know? And so it was great. And I wasn't, like I said, I still had a lot of work to do. But just being able to be amongst the best, and knowing that there's still so much work to do is what kept me going, what kept me motivated. So yeah. Sorry.
I like that.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite memory of Virginia Tech? I know you're a student athlete, but like, was there a memory that like, besides being an athlete, or even if there's an athlete moment, was there a favorite memory that you remember and you're like, I remember that. That was a lot of fun, or that was honestly very touching, or whatever.
Yeah. Funny enough, I think my favorite memory would have been after I told my parents I was pregnant, because I was still competing. It was right before ACCs, and we were getting ready to go to University of North Carolina. And knowing that I no longer had to hide. Funny enough, I had just found out like not even 2 weeks before I had to tell my parents. And so being able to go and compete at ACCs, you know what I mean? And then knowing that I'm going to be a mom, right? And being just confident in my decision to be a mom, but also know that everything that I've worked so hard for could be done or was going to be done. My favorite moment came in that moment, just knowing that, hey, this is it. Give it all you have, and whatever like you have left, it's just like my coach used to say, balls to the wall, right? It's just, you just go crazy on it. And that's exactly what I did at my very last throw. I gave it everything I had. And that was my favorite memory. Like I said, just being with my teammates, the people that I have done life with for the last 4 years, being around the environment that made me who I am, and then knowing that I'm literally carrying my future. That would have been, that was it.
I like that. So since you said you competed in the ACC,
Yep.
how did that prepare you for the national competition?
Yes, so it prepared me for nationals in a way that you would have thought that I would have killed nationals. You would have thought that I should have been a national champ. But funny enough, I biffed it every time. Nationals, it was almost like taking a test where you're like, the information, but you get in front of the computer screen or you get at the desk and you're writing and you're like, wait, I don't remember anything I studied. Something about nationals never ever went right for me, and I hate like that. If there was a worse memory, it was the fact that every time I got to nationals, I did not do well. Knowing that even one of my biggest, funny enough, my teammate was one of my biggest competitors. She was also a shot putter. She was also one of the best. So we had opportunity to fight against one another. And I say that meaning in a good way. She would throw something. She would throw 16 meters. I'd throw 16 meters. She'd throw 1609. I'd throw 16, whatever. Like we would battle with one another. But she was also good at hammer and at weight. So for me, it was like, you're at nationals again. Let's go. And nothing. Right? And so that's when I realized all this training that I've done in my junior year, but when I'm at nationals, my senior year, I realized at that time I didn't do what I was supposed to do. I didn't prepare myself well. I don't know if it was sleep, nerves, not eating right, me telling myself I didn't deserve to be there, whatever it was. But yeah, I don't know. Nationals, that's a very sore subject for me.
So since your teammate was pretty much your competition, how was it like versing the best throwers in the country besides your teammate?
So you want to know who the other good throwers were? Is that what you're saying? Like,
yeah, and I was like, how was it like going up against? We were like, dang, or we were like, nah, that cakewalk.
Right. Yeah. So in where we were at, again, throwing, you peak at different times, right? It's just like any competition. You're gonna play, if you're playing football, that team's gonna win, and then you beat them 30 times before then. It was just their time. Track is different. You peak today, you might peak the next 3 weeks, right? When you're going against that same person again. So you might beat that same person over and over and over again because they're peaking at the time when you're not competing against them. It's all a science, right? But the problem was, for me, I always peaked at the right time. But for my own pleasure, I didn't peak at the right time for the people I wanted to beat. You know what I mean? A good friend of mine, and I say good friend, she's actually the gold medalist, Michelle Carter, right here in Texas. Her dad was Michael Carter. Her sister, not daughter, excuse me, her sister also was a thrower. when I tell you them girls are bad, they're bad. Obviously, she's the freaking world champ, right? The thing with that was I competed against her so many times. And of course, I'm pretty sure the days or the track meets that I did beat her were probably because she was at a time either where she wasn't peaking or she wasn't giving it her all. Because when I tell you, watching her throw, I'm like, yeah, I never saw that at a track meet. Because if I would have competed with that, that would have pushed me to do so much more, right? And of course, I gave it my all. But the thing was, we never had a 2 meter gap the way that young lady threw at the Olympics, right? So Michelle Carter was one of the baddest that I ever competed against. Who else? I would say there is a few girls in like Kentucky, Syracuse. They had some throwers. A lot of the throwers I competed against were all foreigners as well, so it was really neat. I loved it. I loved it because we weren't just competing against people who were born right here. Like these are people who literally have created. We got real Greeks like throwing against us. You know what I mean? Like they competed and they created the Olympics. So I loved it. But yeah, I think Michelle Carter was the baddest that I've ever competed against.
Okay.
Yeah.
So since you broke a school record at Virginia Tech, so let's talk about how you set that the Virginia Tech indoor shot putt record.
Yeah. And it's funny, I didn't even remember that until you said it.
Wow, really?
So much, I'm telling you. Because I was like, I thought you were talking about the jerk, like the push jerk record. I was like, yeah, I had that for a while. But no, I think any of the records that any of us had, again, with me being my teammate and I being very close in throwing, I think for 2 or 3 years back to back, it was literally like our names were just jumping back and forth on the board, right? And I think for me, those things didn't matter on the Virginia Tech board because it was so much bigger than Virginia Tech at that time. Virginia Tech had now created this monster that you see in front of you at that time, right? And so I wanted to be so much bigger than Virginia Tech. That's why I was telling you that at Nationals, not being able to say, yeah, I did well at Nationals is what kills me because that was what I needed to matter.
Yeah.
So wow, that's crazy. I forgot about that.
Tell us like how was it like the indoor shot put record as well as the other record too that you did, like how was that like walk through the competition, walk through when it left your hand, walk through like how you felt after even beating the record.
Gotcha. Anytime I would have a PR, I would always know. I didn't know obviously that it would have been the record, but I always knew I would have a personal best literally at the meet before I even picked up the shot. And the reason I'm saying that is because I even teach this to the kids that I talk to now. You have this feel about, you just feel different. Yeah. Again, it's like you wake up and you just know that you're ready to go. Now, what you did to prepare yourself before you got to that moment, I can't tell you. And that's what my problem was. I didn't understand how I got where I was. I didn't figure that out. I didn't take time to learn that. Because if I would have done that, I would have gotten the results I needed when I needed them, right? But there would be certain meets, like I can remember Wake Forest. Wake Forest was one of the meets that I PR'd. And I knew I was going to PR that day. I felt great. I got in my standing throw, just throwing it straight back. I felt it. I knew that my coach would always say, if your standing throw, when you throw back like this, like a back overhead, right? Just holding the shot on the toe board. He said that should be the same distance as your standing throw. So then I would get there. And if it went further, then I knew I was ready. So then when I now glided, my release, everything spot on. Right? And then that's when they hit me with the 1680 whatever. And again, that's like I said, those were the moments that I was like, okay, I'm doing something right. But to go back and be able to write down that what I just did in a notebook, I couldn't tell you. Yeah. It was just I felt good. I was not that athlete that was like, let me write this down. I got it. Okay, I released it this way. I just had it. I had it. I just didn't have it when I needed it the most. But yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
So, what does a record mean for you today? And do you still keep up with Virginia Tech track? And also, did anyone beat your record though?
Oh yes, absolutely. My record was broken, and as everybody knows, records are meant to be broken. Like I said earlier, my teammate and I, we would break each other's records back to back. Like they never stayed on the board. We literally watch our names just moving like that, right? Same thing in the weight room because we were like seriously, we were out there killing it. But as far as my records, as far as my awards and all of that, none of that means anything to me. And it's funny that you asked that question. And again, I keep on trying to stay away from talking about Zeke, but really, truly, it brings everything back to him. And that's why I say this story literally leads up to Ezekiel. My parents in Illinois had a house fire, and this was right after Zeke was probably 2 hours at grad school in South Carolina with Ezekiel. And I'm doing my thing, and I get a call that the house has burned down. I'm talking to the ground, and my mom was in the house, but my mom obviously is good. All our records, all of our awards were in that home. My parents had a game room where each one of us had a wall, and this is where I also brag again on my brothers. I had a wall, and like my wall was like an L. They got one, and they got the other, right? And so it was like all of our pictures, then our awards kind of around it. And I remember when I found out I was pregnant, and everybody was like, there was a conversation of, are you going to keep it, or are you going to? And it was never a question for me. I don't care what anybody else does. That my thing was, I'm always going to keep it. I got myself here. We're going to do what we need to do. So they were like, Ciera, your future goals, your awards, you're this, you're that. And I told them, I said, none of my awards will ever equate to what God has blessed me with. Now, funny enough, again, fast forwarding to what happened at my parents' house, truly, truly, none of my rewards even lasted the fire. So if I would have given up my son's life for those awards, I would have been a very angry person. I would have been without my son, and I wouldn't even have an award to show. If not for social media, if not for the internet, you wouldn't know a thing about me. But now look, you know me through my son, right? And so I always tell people, my mess turned into my greatest blessing. So my awards that I got then mean absolutely nothing. Yeah. Absolutely nothing. I don't care not one bit about it. My son's kind of like that now. He gets awards, and I'm like, Zeke, where's your award? He's like, oh no, Mama. I'm like, it's not a pride thing. It's just that that's not what equates to greatness, right?
That's good.
So yeah.
Do you still stay in contact with the school? Do you like help out?
You did ask that. Yes, you did ask that. So, do I keep up with track and field? That was a question you asked me before. Absolutely not. Why? Yep, at Virginia Tech, no, I do not. I actually don't keep up with a lot of sports. You hear about a lot of players who play sports. They don't really always watch them unless it's like playoff season, Super Bowl season, whatever, Olympics. That's me too. I'm not about to sit here and watch track and field. I'm not. To me, it's absolutely boring until the Olympics.
Yeah, I mean,
volleyball,
it's fun, but when you're watching, like it's like baseball. Like you're like baseball.
I will never.
Baseball boring. But.
Baseball is the worst. I think they need to change football to the American sport because baseball drives me insane. But
no, golf is worse. Golf is worse.
Golf is the worst. We lived across a golf course in Illinois. Literally, like you step over into the street and a golf course is across the street. And I lied to you not. I wanted a golf cart so I could go ride in the golf course. Who plays golf? So, anyway, but no, I do keep in contact with people when we go back. When Zeke went on his unofficial visits when he was still young, when he got his very first offer, obviously from Virginia Tech, we went there. One of the kids, like one of the athletes, didn't want to let me in because I just looked like a random person just hanging out. And so it was one of the head trainers. They're like, you don't even know who that is. They're like, let her in. They're like, Ciera, and then all the other old athletes, like used to play football there, are now coaches. They came and, they would hug me. And so, like, yes, absolutely. I still keep in touch with a lot of them there. A lot. That's still family.